Hello, everyone. I am Teresa Kennedy, Public Relations Marketing Manager for the Bean Path, and I would like to welcome everyone for joining us for our Tech Office Hours. If this is your first time joining us, I'll just tell you what Tech Office Hours is. It happens every second Saturday of the month, and we have a featured presentation like we do today, and followed by the presentation, we'll have one-on-one scheduled appointments with tech experts. This is a wonderful opportunity for you to learn more about what the work we do and other people who are involved in the tech industry and the work that they do. Again, we thank you so much for joining us, and we ask that this time, if you would go ahead and share the broadcast or this presentation that you're about to be a part of, and share it on your Facebook page, start a watch party. We want to invite everyone to be a part of this. As you know, this month is not only Black History Month, but also a time where a lot of people get involved and participate in Valentine's Day. Today happens to be pre-Valentine's Day. And we are so delighted that we'll be talking about dating in the digital world, how technology has changed the game. And so before I talk a little bit about who's joining us, again, I want to invite you all to go ahead and share this presentation that we have. We're about to dive deep into a discussion about networking and dating, mobile apps, and they'll be presented by the founders of Let's Link, Meshie Carbon and Edward Thomas. All right, a little bit about them. Meshie Carbon is the co-founder, COO of Let's Link. She was raised in Merritt Island, Florida, the granddaughter of an immigrant that came to the United States and became a very successful business owner of residential and commercial construction company. She looked up to her grandfather, who instilled in her determination and a strong work ethic. And she started working at a very young age. She fell in love with business and technology, studying business and joining STEM in high school before moving on to college, where she received 3 technical degrees in the fields of network management, computer-based management, and general information technology. In 2020, she was presented with the opportunity to come on board as the chief operating officer of Let's Link and cultivate the ideas into an application that would revolutionize the dating and networking industry. Welcome, Meshie.
Thank you.
And now, Mr. Edward Thomas, who is the founder CEO of Let's Link, is not your ordinary CEO. Edward grew up in the tough streets of Miami. As a young boy searching for a purpose, he did what most boys did, and that was take an inquisitive approach to making friends. Unbeknownst to Edward, he developed friends that led him into acts that not only got him into trouble, but became the very foundation of why he built Let's Link. As a result of his connections and actions, Edward was incarcerated on several occasions, but that didn't stop him. During his last incarceration, Edward became adamant about what he would do about building and meaningful relationships and connections. Several questions piqued his interest into how to build friendships through networking, dating, and mostly safe fun. The inception of Let's Link was started. Edward released and began the journey of a reform. He was released and began a journey of reformed lifestyle. He became a CDL contractor, visiting over 48 states, where he fell in love with meeting new people. Edward realized he could not possibly visit every popular spot, so he began to use social media apps, but to no avail. Edward did not achieve the connections he was looking for. So in fall of 2019, Edward knew it was a time to put Let's Link into action, and with his team, they began to birth the newest social app for networking, dating, and fun. Meshie and Edward, again, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we will let you all start with your presentation. Again, we're talking about dating in a digital world, how technology has changed the game. I'll let y'all get started.
Hey, first and foremost, I would like to thank you guys, Dr. Nashley, Ivan, the whole Bean Path team, the whole Kids Lab team for allowing me and my colleague to come on and speak about, dating and tech. It's a conversation that really needs to be had, and it's an honor to be here. I'm gonna let Meshie take over and get the ball rolling.
All right, so I'm going to start by sharing my screen. So everyone should be able to see my screen now. So again, just to reiterate what Ed said, thank you guys for allowing us to use your platform. For those of you who are tuning in, thank you for joining in to participate. Today's topic is dating in a digital world and how technology has changed the game. So what we are planning on going over with you guys today is a little bit about who Let's Link is. We want to talk about dating over time and how dating was versus how dating is today. Then we're going to move into the impact that dating has on technology, focusing on both the positive and the negative impacts. And last, we're going to talk about what the future of dating will look like. We'll talk a little bit about what's missing from online dating, and then we'll introduce you into the Let's Link platform. So just to give you a little bit about what Let's Link is an interactive networking and dating event application. It's geared towards people who like the online communication and who would also like that traditional meetup in person. So again, my name is Meshie Carbon. I'm the COO, and we just heard from Edward Thomas. He is the CEO. At the end of the presentation, we will give you that sneak peek, but first let's go ahead and let's start talking about how dating has evolved over time. So I'm gonna stop the presentation so that we can jump into some of those topics. One of the things that I wanna start off by talking about is what the biggest difference is now in what dating is versus what it was. And I think for the people that I've spoken with, and even for myself, one of the biggest differences is the way that we search. It used to be that we would meet people, we would run into them at the grocery stores, at school, at work. The one that I love to hate is that being set up by a friend on a blind date. And that's initially how we met the person that we were going to date. And we may have had a long list of things that were important to us in our partner, and we would settle for that one or two or maybe even three of those most important things. And we would find that in someone, and then we would make it work because they had those top qualities, those top priorities for us.
And the piggyback off Meshie, what the dating scene brings now is like a filter. Like now, you used to see a guy or a girl in, like she said, in the supermarket, or they met your physical attraction. You was attracted to them physically, but you still had to get to learn them, their job occupation, their political belief, their religious belief, and so and so. Well, the way dating is now, you got all of that in front of you now. Filter, their job occupation, their political affiliation, everything about them. Like we use the analogy, Meshie, I let Meshie use the analogy of like a resume per se. Whereas like jobs, they make it open where applicants can put in a resume. Everything about that applicant on paper. You get what I'm saying? That's almost like what it is now. You know everything about them as well as the physical attraction.
So
Well,
go
I was
ahead.
going to say, for someone who's, I guess, a little older than you all, I still prefer the old school way of meeting people. Although you do find out a lot about a person from their social media, but I still, like you said, Edward, there is a filter. There's still, I got to get to know you, because everybody puts their best self on social media. And so there's still, and even to Misha's point of the blind date, I think I may have done one or two of those. They were never successful like that. So I do like the connection of having, someone know this person already, because it kind of helps with getting to know them. But I'm curious to hear like the what was and what is happening now, because I know Let's Link is a networking app, dating app, a fun app, and I'm curious to hear what you guys are going to share as it relates to how you've made it safer and better.
yeah, we definitely would get to that. Um, I don't know if you want to tap right into the good, or you have any more to say, Meshie, on
Yeah, so there are other pointers that I want to point out when we're talking about dating over time. The one thing that happens to be very important is that it changed the way that we communicate. So it used to be, and I think when I think about this, I think about that show, Everybody Hates Chris, where dad comes home and kids have gone haywire, wife has quit her job, and he didn't know any of that until he gets home. Where now, the evolution of technology has allowed us to communicate more. So we get to know deeper, I think, now using technology than we did before because we're in constant communication. I can text you all day long. I can FaceTime you when you're away. So communication has also had a really big impact. And Ed actually has a really good point of view when it comes to having that communication, and where it used to be that
right,
was secondary.
right. Thank you, Meshie. So well, it used to be, prior to technology, you initially met someone in person. Technology came second. Far as I meet you in church, I meet you wherever I met you, technology didn't come into play once I gave you my number. You get what I'm saying? I give you my number, I gave you my email address, or whatever means of communication. That's when technology came into play. Well, that's moving second now. Technology is moving first. You're meeting via technology first, online, social media, dating apps, and then you're meeting in person. So what technology has done, it's kind of like flip that, like made it, whereas the initial meetup, you meeting someone initially, it made it move second. You know what I'm saying? So we at Let's Link, we're finding a fine balance of that, bringing back initial meetups and understanding that technology is not going anywhere. So finding that balance.
And just to piggyback off of that, and then kind of going back to what Ed said about a resume, right now, the way that dating is kind of, it's been industrialized. It's kind of like giving an individual the same privileges a business would have. If I was a business and I had a position, I would post on, let's say, Career Builder, Indeed, that I have this position, and then they would send me resumes. I would filter through those resumes, see what qualities they had, and for those that I liked, I would bring them in for an interview. That's what dating apps have done. They have said, hey, here's an individual, and that individual is saying, I'm in the need of someone to hang out with, a short encounter, a long-term relationship. I'm looking for marriage. They post their profile and their need on these dating apps, and then here comes a match. And what you have the ability to do is you filter through it just the same way you would do a resume, and you decide from that profile and looking at those pictures if you're even going to communicate with them, let alone let them take you on a date or ask them out on a date. So that actually brings me into our next topic. So we want to first, we want to know what impact, asking the audience, so a question posed to the audience, what impact do you guys think that technology has had on dating?
Okay.
I'll say for me, I know you guys are expecting people to respond, and they will. I know. I'll say the impact has been tremendous. Even before this pandemic, that kind of limited people's interaction with other people. I have friends that met and married people from meeting them on a dating app. And so it totally opened my eyes because it wasn't something that at first I thought I would even consider doing. But knowing that a person has met this person, they connected in a way, because I guess they kind of get right down to it in terms of what that person's interested in and what their common, what things they have in common, is immediately brought to the forefront. And so I think it's been a huge impact, and like you all said, it's totally changed how we date now.
And I totally agree. I think when initially dating apps were launched in 1995, if you told someone you met someone on a dating app, they're like, you met on a dating app? And now we're in a society where it's like, which app did you meet on?
It's common, yeah.
Where it's so common that it's almost unheard of that you can actually meet someone in person. It's like, who walks up to you in the grocery store now and say, excuse me, Miss Lady? You don't get that. I've actually had experiences where I can be in the store with someone who is on the app. They will walk right past me, and as they're leaving the store, they'd be like, hey, I just seen you in the store, how are you? Versus walking up to me and actually speaking to me. So so let's go ahead. We'll wait for some of those comments to come in, but in the meantime, let's go ahead and move on to our next topic, which is the impact that technology has had on dating. So I would also like to hear some feedback on what positive and negative impacts that the audience thinks that technology has had on dating. But I also want to go over some of the survey results that we've taken. So some of the positive impacts that we have gotten through our survey results is that convenience. And convenience happens to be a double-edged sword. And I'll give you a second to talk on that in just a moment. But convenience, that it's easy to meet someone new from anywhere. That there is a bigger pool of potential. So I can search through more people and I can meet more people that I may be interested in. And in some cases, I can go on a breakfast date, and I can go on a lunch date, and even go on a dinner date. I have more selection. And then the other positive pointer that we have been getting is that they're no longer limited to those top priorities on their list, that they're able to meet someone who may actually meet most, if not all, of their standards. When we're looking at the negative impacts, some of those negative impacts that we've gotten from those surveys is the players. And when I say players, I mean people who are on these apps for entertainment. They are the catfishers, the ones that are using filter on top of a filter to make themselves look a certain way. They're breadcrumbing. Those are those who are on there having conversation. They may just be lonely, and they have no intention of ever meeting up. They may set up a date with you, but when that date comes, oh, something happened, their car wasn't working, their babysitter didn't come, but they're just on there for the conversation. We have ghosting. That's when, everything seems good, and then all of a sudden, no communication. Your phone is dry, you're texting them, you're blocked from their social media. And then we have the collectors, and those are those who are looking for that instant gratification. We have true personalities. Those are the fakes, the people who are on there saying exactly what they think you want to hear. The scammers, those who are looking for someone so that they can benefit something from it. And then the shared responses. And when I say shared responses, what I mean is where I'm texting this guy and I'm like, oh, girl, he said, what should I say? And then they're giving me something to say. So when I actually meet up with this person, they fell in love or were attracted to the personality I displayed. But that personality was me, my homegirl, my sister, my cousin. It was all of our personalities because our responses, my responses weren't my own. I do want to talk about safety a little bit, but I'm going to let Ed jump in, and I'm going to let him talk about convenience. So let me stop the share.
Yeah.
Well, before
So
we do that, Ed, I'm sorry. I want to share some of the responses we got from our attendees.
Okay.
One said a positive is that you get to meet people who may not otherwise may not always be inside of your circle, so outside of your circle. She said that, but this was lost on me because I met my husband through my brother. Another one said that one of the positive impacts is the convenience in an on-demand society. Someone else said more visibility and accessibility, access to individuals all around the world. And then someone else mentioned, actually a guy, he said that the positive, all the info presented before you actually meet the individual makes it much easier for me to not waste my time on non-compatible people. So that was a positive for him. And then I guess this would be a negative one for someone who's viewing. She said that some of the apps are just too complex. There are too many layers to it. And then someone else said she dated online for a year, and the biggest challenge she had to deal with was that people felt a little safer about just ghosting. Say what you feel, and that's what she was looking for, someone to just say how they really feel.
Exactly.
So that's some of the positive and negative impacts from some of our viewers.
right.
All right.
I definitely get into the positive and negative, but I think I see one of the things that make me and Meshie a strong team, by the way, is we have different perspectives on a lot of subjects, but we respect each other enough to listen and understand, and so we get a clear understanding. I'm gonna tap right into convenience. It's a double-edged sword. It's made it where you can conveniently date from the comfort of your home. You know what I'm saying? It's you can be at home, you can date when you want, how you want, wherever you want. Like literally, like you just roll out your bed and go on a virtual date, start talking to somebody. So that's one of the positives of it. And one of the questions said basically the same thing. You can you have the ability to date outside of your immediate area. You can dates. If you live in Florida, I'm down here in Florida, you could date somebody in California, with the convenience of the app. And window shopping. You can see what you want before you get it. Like, you like the conversation we had earlier. You see, you want you a nice, tall, chocolate brother. Yes, he's good to the eye, but if you're an intelligent woman, you want to, what's your occupation? What's your political affiliation? So and so, and all that's presented to you, not just the eye candy. And I tapped on 24 hours of dating, an immediate location, but I don't want to just go back and forth with the good and the bad, but when it comes to convenience, I have a strong opinion on this. So I'm gonna get right into the bad of it too, because to me, it's a lot more bad with that convenience than it is good. Seriously. So that's why, Let's Link, we're adamant about finding that balance to make dating, to preserve the quality of dating, in general. And that convenience has made dating very catalog. Whereas, it's basically like swiping right, swipe left, a pair of shoes, a pair, like you going on Fashion Nova. It's made it very catalog, but by doing that, your tolerance level is low. Like one of the somebody in there asked, posted the answer about, it's easy to ghost. It is, because there's always another woman, there's always another man, one swipe away or one profile away. So your tolerance on dealing with some individual, he might look good, she might look good. They say one thing wrong, is swipe right, swipe left. And I think that's a bad thing in the long run. And the other one is it's lowered the quality of dating in total. So I'm gonna give you guys a quick analogy. When I was young, I had one pair of shoes, right? We were going through a little rough patch in life. And I knew that I wouldn't get another pair of shoes till either tax time, Christmas, or maybe my birthday. My mom was feeling good. But the maintenance that I did to those shoes, the way I treated those shoes, when I came home from school, I went straight to the bathroom, went under the counter, grabbed my toothbrush, my cup, and I cleaned those shoes. Do you think that I go home and I got multiple pair of shoes in my closet today. You think I'm gonna treat those shoes with the same quality that I treated that one pair of shoes back then? It's just not going to happen. If I meet you in the supermarket and you leave a lasting impression on me, and I'm like, wow, she look good, smell good, her swag on. When we meet, we talk again. You might say something that I might not agree with, but that impression that you left, and I don't. It's like I didn't meet 5 females that day in the supermarket. I met you. So my tolerance level will be a little more. I'm like, okay, I'll talk to you the more, and I'll be willing to see it through and not just ghost. As to if I meet you online and you say something, never mind, swipe, because there's always another woman, there's always another individual one swipe away. Now, also about it's made it overwhelming. The convenience of it has got it made dating a little overwhelming. Like it's to the point, it's like if you're a serious dater, if you're serious about dating, and you know studies show, I mean, just common sense show that you women take dating a lot more serious than us men. I mean, that's just what it is. Majority of women take dating a lot more serious. So it could be an overwhelming to y'all because you got players in real life, right? You meet a guy here, a player, this and that, but the convenience made him, he can be a player to the 3rd degree now. He mastered this. He's a player that's conveniently playing now online. And to someone that's serious about dating, it just get overwhelming. And it could turn you into a serial dater. Like you literally could turn into a serial dater and not know it. Like when I was going through the dating scene, I had multiple dating apps. And I didn't realize I was a serial dater. I'm like, I was having 4 or 5 conversations, 4 or 5 FaceTimes a day, and but I turned into a serial dater, and I had to sit back and realize, like, man, am I ever going to find that one that I really
didn't have time to?
I didn't have time because I was spread thin. Because the convenience, it was so easy to talk to this chick. It was so easy to talk to this woman. My bad, I didn't mean to say chick, you guys. And so I'm gonna give you guys another analogy. What the convenience has done is took away critical steps and stages in the process of dating that is needed, and it's lowered the quality of dating. So I'm gonna give you the analogy of, I use this analogy with Meshie a lot, is it's like when your mama cooked that food on the stove. She had to put the right seasoning in it. She had to thaw that meat. She had to have the right temperature. It's gonna be fulfilling. But you put food in you can put food in the microwave and it'll fill you up just like that food on the stove will fill you up, right? But would it be as tasting? Would it be as refreshing? Would the quality of that food be the same? No. Dating and technology has become the microwave. Literally, like it's become the microwave. And those steps, there's no chivalry. There's no chivalry. There's no intimacy. It's so cataloged and it's frustrating. And me going through that, I told myself, it got to be something better. We gotta find that balance to reserve the quality of dating, but understanding that tech is here. You know what I'm saying? It's here. Right. So, I mean, that's why Meshie let me get the flow on that, because this part of right here is I'm real passionate about that. I want to find that balance, and Let's Link, we're here to find that balance.
Well, let me ask you this, Edward. You mentioned about spread yourself thin, the convenience of being able to date these different people. I know you're engaged. So was that how, did you meet your fiance through a dating app?
No, or I met her on Facebook. I met my fiance on social media.
Right? Wow. Okay.
And at that time, I was just getting to a serious point in my life. I was going through the motions. I was like, man, I'm looking for something serious. But I had been spread thin with dating apps. Like I had been like, I was exhausted, overwhelmed. And I'm like, and then she inboxed me. She gonna tell everybody I inboxed her, but she inboxed me. I sent her a friend request. I saw her a friend request and she inboxed me talking about something. Do I know you? Okay, you open the door now. But no, yeah, I was spread thin. I was fed up and I was overwhelmed with the dating scene, and it's all about the convenience of it. You know, that's why we got to find that balance. And Let's Link, we're here to find that balance.
So you mentioned she, I guess in some way slid in your DM after you sent the friend request. Was there, and her asking that, did that offend you in any way? Her asking, did she know you? Because a lot of us get DM messages, and some people we know, some people that we may have gone to school with long ago, grew up in the neighborhood with them. Are you offended? Were you offended by her asking that after you sent the friend request, or was that part of the game? Was that part of your game?
I had a big
Oh,
smile on my face saying, "She know what she doing." I had a big smile on my face saying, "She know what she doing. She done opened the door. Let me go ahead and slide in." So no, I wasn't offended at all. No.
So I wanted to, I know we have some questions in the chat. So, but before we answer those questions, I do want to point out some statistics. So just to piggyback off of what Ed said, 1 in 3 males swipe left or right on every profile. So they say they like everybody, and then they just wait for those women to respond back. So 1 in 3 swipe yes, yep, yep, and they wait for that response back. Another thing is we're moving deeper into using technology, especially now in the pandemic. Match Group, who owns a bunch of dating apps, has reported that there's been 82% increase in users just since March. So that means that we have more and more people who are now online, whether it's looking for a romantic relationship or if it's just looking for someone to talk to because they're lonely during this time where they're isolated. We're still having that increase. And like everyone knows, it takes 21 days to form a habit. So for us to revert back to pre-pandemic dating habits, it's going to take a long process because we've been doing this for months now. We're now accustomed to online FaceTime dates and going through the motions that this pandemic has streamlined us through using technology.
Well, one of the questions that you asked early on was, what do you feel are some red flags when it comes to online dating? We've gotten several responses. One was a list of partner requirements, like it's a job posting. I guess that goes back to Edward's thing about the resume. And Meshie's point about Indeed, it's almost like you're posting your bio there. Someone else said not being transparent. That's a red flag for her. Someone else said not forthcoming about name and work. And so what have you all found through your surveys with other people and your research to be red flags when it comes to online dating?
Well, I'd like to take the floor with that, Meshie.
Okay.
Like I say, me and Meshie, we have a different perspective on things, and this is one of them that we have different perspective. And somebody said it, transparency. And I feel like you shouldn't be talking to someone consistently more than 3 to 5 days, maybe a week, without knowing their real name, without knowing their real occupation, knowing, those essential things that you should know about somebody. If it's taking that long, that is a red flag to me. Either A, they got some kind of criminal history they hide, they got a wife, a husband, but that's one of the key red flags to me is I should know your name. I should know your occupation. I don't necessarily know where you work, but I need to know your occupation, your name, and things of that nature. So I firmly believe in transparency.
I definitely agree with that. Transparency is very important, especially for women. It's like one of the things that I want to point out is that, and this is going into safety, is that there is Section 230 of the Communication and Decency Act, which protects platforms like dating apps from litigation in the event that someone has something done to them through using the communications. So when we're talking about safety and knowing someone's name, there's not many apps out there. I don't know any apps that require you to have that information. No one's requiring you to do a ID verification. And that's one of the things that we at Let's Link are focusing on is safety. Because if you meet someone online and they commit fraud against you, they rape you, you get abused, you get kidnapped, you get killed, there is nothing that your family can do to, or you can do to that dating platform.
Oh, wow.
In addition to that, that dating platform is not required to let other users know that that user has done these things or had these reported allegations, and they're not required to remove that profile either. So when we focus on safety, that's one of the biggest things that we do at Let's Link is making dating safer. So having that first name or that full name and knowing those things, I feel is extremely important as well.
To piggyback off Meshie is also that ID verification. I think that's big, and I think we need to push that on the culture. We're pushing that as the culture. One of the of Let's Link is safety, because we're big on safety, man. I love y'all. I love my sisters. I love my women. So we want to make sure you guys are protected, and so I think that is definitely key. But to get back on, I want to get back on the red flags. That was one. I don't want to get too off topic. One of the key red flags to me is all your pictures is makeup. Like, give me some
or filtered.
Yeah, filters or makeup. Give me something, because now I feel like you hiding something. You know, if all your pictures, everything about you is makeup and filters, nothing original, that's a definite red flag to me. Definite.
And I know people who have met someone online, have dated them, they fall in love with that filtered image or that made up face, and then they're not attracted to them in their natural state. I had a friend who was dating a guy and she would sleep with makeup on because he wasn't attracted to her without it. Wow. So, save yourself the time and at least post one just natural, clean face, like just waking up type picture, so that that person can appreciate your natural beauty and you're not settling for someone who is really not into your physical appearance. Another red flag for me, I don't like pictures that are made up. Like, when I say made up, it's like every picture you look like a model in. It's like my initial thought is who is taking these pictures? Especially if their angles are good. I'm like, yeah, he got it, girl. Go to the next. So for me, that from our studies, some of the things that we've heard is the males don't like women who every single picture is doing the duck face. Every single picture is them like, and it's because it portrays an attitude. So there immediately it plants that seed, oh, this woman's full of attitude. So have at least a picture of you smiling, of you happy, having fun, that shows that you're not all serious and you're not full of attitude.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's important. I was listening to a podcast just last night, and they were talking about toxic people as part of the conversation. And so when you talk about red flags, and it was saying that be careful, be aware of people who are toxic, and they attract other toxic people. I guess the law of attraction. So even in dating, and one of the red flags I would imagine is pay attention to what they are talking about or what their conversation is. Because part of that could be a red flag early on, just the conversation that they're trying to have. I know there are dating apps that allow you to do common connections, or you have to have a certain amount of mutual friends. With Let's Link, and you all are taking pretty much finding the what's wrong with this one, what's wrong with that one, and making Let's Link better than that, and or improving upon it. How you start talking about, Meshie, you start talking about safety. What is it that Let's Link is doing outside of, I know Edward has already alluded to, and you too, about the laws and being able to connect with I mean, should something bad happen, what other measures are you all taking as it relates to safety to ensure that Let's Link is that app that people should look to?
Right. So
Absolutely. So we have a lot of things that are in the works, but just to name a few of the things that we're doing is we are doing the ID verification. Now, depending on your membership, that's included, but for $2.99 with a free membership, you can get ID verified. Other things that we're doing is if someone's profile is reported and they have not been ID verified, we're requiring that person to be ID verified. We're also going to be notifying other users that they spoke with that their account has been disabled due to our privacy restrictions that we have. And in the event that they don't, we remove that profile completely. So initially, we're blocking the profile. We're notifying the other users that there is an issue with that profile, and then we'll completely remove it. And we're doing so by using geofencing, MAC IDs, IP addresses, so that they can't just create another profile.
right. And also what we're doing is what makes us different, period. Let's Link is we're pushing for in-face meetups. So like what we're doing, a little quick, on Let's Link, we're going to be the first dating app integrated with venues, bars, clubs, and whatever, etc. So we're going to we're going to team up with local venues and establishment in those areas, kind of like Groupon, whereas clubs, bars, cafes, whatnot, and we're going to push for our users to meet up at those spots, or just host a lot of events where there's our security. Now we recently added another feature to safety, and it's a bomb feature, but I can't really speak on it now because my patent lawyer killed me. So, but it's a bomb feature that nobody has, and it's key for safety and protection. So I can't really speak on that right now. I really wish I could, because it's a bomb feature, but I can't really speak on that. But we want to push meetups through the app. Like, we're going to host events. So if you're talking with somebody, you're meeting with somebody, we're going to have the events. Now, we know that there are apps that host events, but we're going to be the first app integrated with those events. You can buy someone a drink in the club via the app. You can buy them online gifts, tangible gifts, shout out to the host, DJ, everything through the app. So therefore, you're meeting in person.
Not only that, when we're talking about safety,
like that all the time, but we're pushing for that.
And I'm sorry, Ed, I didn't mean to cut you off, but not only that, when we're talking about safety, you do have a QR code where that venue can scan you in and then have a count of everyone that's in that venue. So in the event that there's a fire, they know everyone who was in that venue. You can check into the venue. Each venue will have their own version of the platform where they can customize it. So all of your interactions can be done through the app. It makes it very COVID friendly. I can see who's at what table. If I'm the waiting staff, I'm able to see everyone's profile. So, they can order through the app. That allows us to get those items right. If I order a drink, I know when that drink's ready, when I'm supposed to go to the bar to pick that up. I can interact with the DJs. I can interact with the host. I can interact with everyone in there. I can see who all is in that venue. So it doesn't limit me like I would be in a normal setting where maybe I'm only going to stay in the VIP, or maybe I'm going to stay by the bar. I can actually interact with everyone in the venue.
No, that is different.
And it's
That
taking
is
away public rejection also. So if she
Right.
ain't feeling you, stay in your
Your
lane.
homeboys won't know.
Go on, stay in your lane over there.
well, even with meeting someone in person, I think prior to the app component, just meeting them out in person. Sometimes we miss those that body language, because sometimes the body language give it away if they're interested or not. If they're like got their arms crossed, they're looking over your shoulder while
Same
you're
face.
talking. Oh yeah, the facial expressions. Yeah, we got to pay more attention to that as well. Someone pointed out that, or I wanted to share with our audience and the attendees, that the Let's Link main goal is to get and keep people in long-term relationships, which could lead, like even for Ed, to marriage. I would like to say, well, what is the if that's the goal with keeping people together long term, how do you accomplish that in even the setting up of your profile? What is it that you all are asking for outside of the two-step identification? What are you asking for that would lead me to believe that anyone that that comes here is looking for a long-term relationship? I mean,
Okay,
is there so much information you all are asking
correct.
for?
So
Or,
I'll
sure.
let Meshie tell you. We have a feature called ID, ideal date. Well, basically, you will build like your own personal avatar, your ideal date. So basically, I don't know if any gamers on here, but if you ever played Madden, you know how you can build your player. And what that feature will do is if you like your woman BBW, you like her petite, long hair, brown eyes, you building out an avatar. Now, I'm gonna have an avatar myself. You're gonna have your ideal avatar. When you're in the vicinity of somebody that meets, say, 60, 75% of that avatar, physical and the mental questions, it will automatically pre-send you guys messages. Say, hey, Teresa, Kevin is in this area. He's 40 miles away from you. He meets 70% of your ID, what we call ideal date. And you connect. So we know you guys have a lot in common before you meet up, as to not, just going off, like I say, eye candy. And we have a few other features that Meshie can elaborate on a little more, but that's just one of many.
And just to piggyback off of what Ed says, the majority of apps now are solely based on physical appearance. And we have a lot of guys who are not photogenic. So, and we're moving into an era where gaming is becoming very popular. So one of the things we do is we have that avatar where you get to build your dream woman or guy. But in addition to that, we ask questions. So there are a series of short quizzes, usually no more than 10 questions, that you can answer as well. So then what it does, we have the system that says, hey, this is what your ideal person looks like. But on a mental and personality, when we're talking about compatibility, this is how y'all score. So although she may have the nicest rear and a slim waist, mentally, we may only be compatible 20%. So once that physical attraction subsides, it's what do you have left? You have that 20%. So it allows you to make an educated decision on, do I want someone who's going to be attractive, but we don't like the same things, and later on down the line, it's not going to be fruitful? Or do I want someone who's going to meet me more on that mental level, and I'm willing to sacrifice on that physical level to meet someone who I'm actually going to have a connection with? So we give you the option of which do you want to weigh first. So if you're in that stage where you're only looking to hook up, and so physical only matters to you, then you can choose to have that portion, that percentage of the weight be heavier than the mental portion. Another thing that we do is we color code level of interest. So immediately looking at who's in my vicinity, I already know, okay, if he's red, he's looking for something long-term. If he's purple, he's looking for marriage. If he's green, he's on go. He's just looking for a hookup. If he's yellow, he's looking to network. So I already know that just by looking at the color coding of your image. So that saves me time from clicking into your profile, having a conversation with you, to then later down the line realize that, you know, we're not on the same page. So those are the 3 ways that we help alleviate some of the burden of the pool being so big, and narrows down to the people who are actually going to meet you on that physical, on that mental compatibility, personality, and are looking for the same thing in common.
Well, I will say this. I know there's one dating app. I won't say their name. It's all about Let's Link, right? There's one dating app where it allows the women to message the men first, and the men have 24 hours to respond. With Let's Link, do you all give the option for either party to, I mean, can men message women, women message men?
Either or.
Okay.
And in our hopes of going back to bridging that gap between traditional and what has now become the standard, there are some women who like to be approached and they want someone to show interest first. Yes, there are women who we're dominant women and we don't mind doing it, but there are some who want that person to reach out to them and show interest first. So we want to give everyone the option. In addition to being able to say, hey, everyone can reach out. If you don't feel that that person is of interest or compatibility, we do have options where you can block that person. They won't even see your profile on the system anymore. So we make it convenient either way.
Oh, I like that. I like that. So you mentioned about the avatar and the different, I guess, questionnaires or quizzes. Are those optional or those are mandatory when you create a profile?
They are optional. They're optional. And even if you start it, you can always come back to it. So, and it tells you as you're doing them, what percentage is increasing your likelihood of meeting someone that has a true match.
Gosh, so you guys obviously have done a lot of research, because just the information that you all are sharing about Let's Link, that means that you all had to be present on a lot of dating apps to even know what's out there.
When I got the idea to get a dating app, every dating app came out. I was downloading. I was just, I was downloading.
Ed is the dating app guru.
I see.
Because I felt like I had a niche, like Bumble. Bumble has a niche. That's what took them, to the heights they're at. So once I found out we had a niche with Let's Link, I wanted to make sure our niche was good enough to take us to higher heights above all the other competitors. And I feel like Let's Link, we have that. So yeah, I've done a lot of research, I've done my due diligence. And Let's Link, our main goal is to get and keep people in long-term relationships and marriages. So that's our goal.
So we don't have much time left, and there's another question that just came up. I know Let's Link is not quite out yet, right?
No.
Okay. Could you tell us a little bit about your launch date, and in this meantime, are you all raising investment funds for your company?
We currently are raising investment funds. We're trying to launch, say June, July-ish. That's our goal. But yes, we're in the pre-seed round. We have a beautiful prototype. We have a solid team behind us. And so yeah, that's how our goal is: June, July launch.
Okay. All right. How can people connect with you all and get behind what you all are doing in terms of maybe creating a profile when you all do launch, or just being in the know of all the things y'all have going on?
Well, they can reach out to us on our website, www.letslink.com, and that's link with 2 I's. We have our survey there. We're always looking for survey responses, so they can go in there and see the survey. We have our corporate number. They can reach out to us on our corporate number, which is 833-544-6587. Again, 833-544-6587. Or they can email me directly at meshiecarbon@letslink.com. And again, that's link with 2 I's.
Yeah, I was asking you all before we went live about the Let's Link, and Whitney brought up a strong point. I didn't even catch it that the 2 I's are obviously two people linking together. Yeah, so that's really hot. Again, I want to. The number is 833-544-6587. You can also email Meshie Carbon at letslink.com, and that's link with 2 I's. If you all have questions or just want to know more about Let's Link, or even just get involved in the movement that they've created. I want to thank y'all so much for joining us. I think that is all the questions that we've had so far. Thank y'all so much for taking time out to join us. And we wish you all the best. And we definitely will be keeping up with you.
Awesome, man. We thank you guys, the whole Bean Path Kids Lab. Thank you guys so much for bringing us on and just, showing that hospitality, man. You guys are awesome.
Absolutely. Well, again, if you tuned in somewhere in the middle of our broadcast, this presentation, we do want you to share it when you get a chance and share this information with other people on your social media, and just share the things that are going on with the Bean Path, the things that are to happen with Let's Link. I think you all will be well pleased with a lot of the activity that's going on. And again, I want to share about Tech Office Hours. Tech Office Hours is every second Saturday of the month. We do a feature presentation as well as one-on-ones that follow the presentation, which is a one-on-one consultation with tech experts. Be sure to go ahead and register. You can still register to meet with someone today. If not, you can go ahead on our website, thebeanpath.org, and schedule one for March. March is a really exciting presentation that we're having. Our actually CEO founder, Dr. Neshle Cephas, will be talking about gardening and how technology has improved gardening. I'm gonna definitely tune into that one. I'm trying to do better. It took me 3 weeks to create a flower bed that I thought would only take 3 hours. And so I will be tuning in to try to simplify and make my life better. Another program that we introduced last year was CTO to go. If you are a small business owner or work in a small business that needs help with your tech infrastructure, give us a call or try to reach out to us, again, through our website. You can also email us at info@thebeanpath.org. You can follow us on all our social media. That would be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at The Bean Path. We are through this program, CTO to Go. We specialize in creating a tech roadmap, finding tech talent, app development, as well as website development. So be sure to check us out. Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you all next month. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you, guys.